Although I admire his passion, he is completely misguided. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you enjoy my content and want to support my channel, you can use the links in the description box below. And let's talk about this. I came across this article. It's actually on Yahoo News. And it's by, I assume a journalist, but he does some articles for the Gaylord Herald Times. His name is Michael Jones. And just by the title alone, you can see the direction he is heading in here. But keep it simple. It's time to stop pussyfooting around about guns. Now, I've read it, and I am absolutely compelled to talk about it. As I said, I can understand where he's coming from. Who isn't frustrated by the element of violence in this society that is escalating, but it has nothing to do with guns? But I want to go through this. It's not that long, but as I said, I felt compelled to talk about it. But I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of waiting around for somebody, politicians I would presume, to do something about the epidemic of mass shootings in the United States. Shootings in the United States is not an epidemic. That's just, once again, gaslighting language that's used to make violence by a firearm seem more egregious than any other form of murder. But the latest obscenity visited upon this country was once again close to home. Remember Oxford High School, November 2021, as 3 Michigan State University students here in the Mitten State were gunned down on campus and 5 others seriously wounded in the latest insanity to take place here. Well, that's very interesting because I know of 4 Utah students who were stabbed to death with a K-bar knife. Does it have to be a firearm to get your sympathy? I'd like to hear him answer that question. I don't know about you, but in my fairly long life, I've never once heard anyone, not a Democrat, not a Republican, not a liberal, nor a conservative, calling for banning guns. Well, let's start with this clip.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
And if you need something more up to date, let's look at this clip.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
So I'm not sure, as a journalist, I find this guy to either be willfully ignorant of the fact that there have been multiple calls for complete ban of firearms, or he's just being aloof for the sake of strengthening his own article. But never heard a single person advocate we go door to door, as you just heard Feinstein say, kicking in those doors of gun owners throughout the country and come for their guns. Never. Although that is exactly what some folks in their fever dream fantasy lives say will happen if we dare pass any type of legislation to meaningfully restrict guns in society. Well, here's the problem with meaningfully restricting guns in society. It does not cure violence. It does not cure the criminal element. It does not pause the criminal element. As a matter of fact, they become more emboldened. But I am mad, very mad as hell, and I would prefer not sitting by and taking it anymore. If it were up to me, which it isn't, I would call for a total ban on guns. All guns, assault rifles, handguns, hunting rifles, cute little itty-bitty derringers. Now just remember a while ago, he said nobody's never called for a complete ban on firearms yet. Here he is, right? Whatever I would call for going door to door and confiscating every damn gun in this country until we're totally free of guns and gun violence. Once again, guns and gun violence. He doesn't care if you're strangled to death. He doesn't care if you're beaten to death with a traffic cone. He doesn't care if you're stabbed to death. He doesn't care if somebody runs you over with their car at a Christmas parade. He doesn't care about you unless you're killed by a gun. Do you not see how twisted this guy is? He is just off his rocker. I'm sorry. But fortunately, it isn't up to me to decide. If we stem the tide of more than once a day mass shootings, we have already been subjected to this brief year alone by banning guns. But it seems the time for calling on common sense, gaslighting, gun laws may rapidly be coming to an end, and that saddens me because I know the vast overmajority of gun owners are more than responsible and dismayed by the number of daily shootings holding our nation hostage. We are dismayed by it. But note one thing, majority of these mass shootings happen in gun-free zones, where the average responsible gun owners are not allowed to bring guns. Schools are gun-free zones, for the most part, depending on the state you live in. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they pick these soft targets? My wife and I have fond memories of living in MSU's married housing while going to school there in the 1970s, and make a point of visiting East Lansing and the greater Lansing area when circumstances allow. Now, though, future visits will be forever tarnished knowing that of the mayhem which has visited this typical Midwestern town. Just like so many other typical towns which have seen a share of violence visited upon them in this gun-crazy country of ours. And he completely ignores, once again, the entire 2020 and 2021 riots where swaths of the country were on fire. Once again, this guy is making this all about guns. It's not about guns. It doesn't have to be like this, but I hold out little hope for things even getting better in the future unless we, the people, rise up and demand changes be made in the name of our health and safety. Okay. I don't know what health has to do with it. You know, maybe he can explain this to me. When somebody is struck by a motor vehicle deliberately and killed, or they're shot by a gun, what is the difference? There is no difference whatsoever. Our elected leaders sure as hell are not going to do anything about this plague of gun violence holding us captive in our own country unless we make it perfectly clear that this is unacceptable, period. Vote them out of office if that is what it takes, but the time has come, it has been long overdue to take back our country from the spineless thugs in Congress and elsewhere who say nothing can be done because of the Second Amendment won't allow it, which it actually doesn't. The NRA won't allow it. Political contributors from the NRA won't allow it. To that, I say bull loud and clear. So join me, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, liberal, or conservative, in demanding extreme measures during these extreme times. I was hoping it wouldn't have to come to this, but maybe if enough of us rise up and demand an end to this insanity, then maybe those who hold the powers that be will take note we are serious about our dismay with the status quo and then do something requiring a backbone to stem the tide of gun violence before it's too late. I have my doubts. It will help, but we won't know until we try. Now, the funny part is this guy wrote this article February 28th, 2023. Like I said before, he's either willfully ignorant of what is going on in this country or just being aloof to give strength to his point of view. Let me refer you to this story here. Got it up here. 19 students at a Pennsylvania high school were stabbed. Texas. This 18-year-old broke into the nursery at the hospital and was choking the newborn, screaming, "Die." Las Vegas. Suspect was basically running amok on the Las Vegas Strip and stabbed multiple people and actually killed 2. And then, of course, the story that is fresh in our minds and recently, Idaho, where 4 students lost their lives by being stabbed to death. I would like Mr. Jones to explain to me what gun control laws or what the absence of firearms would have done to prevent those heinous murders. Those murders matter just as much as someone who is shot by a firearm. This person, and it's very easy to see that he's a one-minded, simple-minded idealist who thinks that everything begins and ends with the firearm. I will tell him that right back to the beginning of history, when Cain slew Abel, God did not blame the rock. He blamed Cain. I'm going to leave this article and you can read it for yourself, but if you go down into the comment section, absolutely, basically no one supported his point of view. Because unfortunately, his point of view is one-sided, lopsided, and quite honestly, ignorant. But as I said, I had to comment on it because his point of view is unfortunately too many people's point of view. And it does not solve the epidemic of violence, not gun violence. The implement is not the issue. It is the morality of this country is going down the toilet and we are reaping what we sow. That's the problem. And taking all the guns, when in reality, all you're going to do is take guns from people who are going to follow the rules, not from those who aren't. So they'll continue their reign of terror unabated. But I don't want to bring common sense into this because I don't think I'm dealing with someone who has it. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comments section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.